We finally have a SpongeBob movie that is now released on Netflix. Sponge, The Search for SquarePants is now playing in theaters. Let's talk about it. Now it's a SpongeBob movie. Obviously, this movie is made for SpongeBob fans. If you're not a SpongeBob fan, this review isn't necessarily for you because you don't really understand the form of content that it is based on. If you understand SpongeBob and such, of course, this movie is made for you, and you're going to enjoy it a lot more. So, for starters, this movie is a lot of fun. I feel like a lot of SpongeBob fans are going to be very pleasantly surprised with this film. It's a lot of fun. I'm diving into all of those reasons why, but you are going to be pleasantly surprised with this film. For starters, the Flying Dutchman is officially back. He has never been in a SpongeBob movie before and only really has shown up in specials that SpongeBob has put out. But this time, he's front and center. He's the main villain, the main character of this entire movie, and I absolutely loved seeing him in the movie finally, and finally seeing this character back. The Flying Dutchman is a fan favorite character of mine, and they absolutely did his character right in my opinion in this movie, and I was so happy to finally see him back on screen. And the animation is so bright, is so great to look at, and kind of just matches the flair of SpongeBob, but still capturing the same energy that SpongeBob is all through the animation, and the animation is just so beautiful to look at. I do think I liked it more in Sponge on the Run because I feel like it was just a lot more colorful on Sponge on the Run, but this one still really has that same flair. So watching it in theaters, the animation does still look very bright and vibrant, and I did really enjoy that. And as a SpongeBob property, of course we have to talk about the humor, and I feel like a lot of the jokes did actually work. I feel like a problem that these latest SpongeBob movies have had is they had no idea what to do with the humor. They had no idea what made people laugh, what made people didn't. Now, of course, I still do have problems with the humor, but for the most part, there are still a lot of solid jokes throughout the entire movie that did get a chuckle out of me here and there. And the story and the character arcs I actually really enjoyed, and really pleasant surprise out of it. It's simple, it's straightforward, but that's kind of exactly what SpongeBob is. It's kind of like an episode of SpongeBob, like a special episode of SpongeBob, just expanded into a movie. That's kind of exactly what this movie is. The character arc SpongeBob goes through, the story, Dutchman, all of these other things just feel like a classic SpongeBob episode. So, of my point of before, the SpongeBob fans are absolutely going to dig this movie up because, in my opinion, it just felt like one of those classic SpongeBob episodes. It finally brought back a lot of things right that old SpongeBob used to get. Not fully, I'll dive into that, but when we compare it to newer SpongeBob, it has gotten a lot of stuff wrong recently. This one will definitely 100% please a lot of fans of this show. Now to me, the final act just felt incredibly random. All of a sudden, we go from this entire animated story to the live action bits, and as we know in the movies, the live action bits are normally always the weakest part of those movies. Because all of a sudden, everything got so cartoony, so childish, all in the final act, that I feel like it just undid the tone that the entire movie has been setting up. Now, of course, that's kind of what SpongeBob is, but if you actually watch the movie, you understand what I mean, because there are a lot of moments in that final act that got so absurd that just completely lost the tone and kind of dived into what modern SpongeBob is. Not really what classic SpongeBob is. Just because they felt the need to make the final act so huge in scale, that just kind of lost the charm that classic SpongeBob had and kind of switched over to modern SpongeBob too much. Some of that into the Netflix category in SpongeBob, like the Sandy Cheeks movie, almost got there a bit. That's just how absurd that final act got. I did enjoy the side plot for the most part, but a lot of it just felt extremely forced. The side plot with Krabs, Squidward, Gary, their quest that they're doing, a lot of that just felt extremely forced in here just for the sake of having a B-plot and for the sake of making this movie longer so they can actually have it as a movie. It just felt too forced in there, and I feel like if you made it have a bit more meaning, I would have enjoyed it just a bit more. I did enjoy it for what it was, but I feel like it could have had a lot more meaning behind it just for the sake of, okay, you see that, now let's cut away to these characters and you can just enjoy whatever they're doing. And the humor in here is not officially classic SpongeBob. If you go back and watch the 2004 original film For SpongeBob, the humor in that is drastically different than the humor in this movie. Is the humor in this movie funny? It can be, but there are also a lot of childish humor in here that modern SpongeBob kind of taps into a bit, but it kind of has that balance of classic and modern SpongeBob that kind of pleases fans for both eras. And I feel like that's where this movie works, is that it's trying to adapt both of them to the point where SpongeBob fans will be pleasantly surprised with this film. So SpongeBob The Search for SquarePants is a film that I feel like a lot of SpongeBob fans are actually going to be very pleasantly surprised with the way things turned out. I enjoyed the story, I enjoyed the arc that SpongeBob went through, the humor was fun, and it brought the tone back of classic SpongeBob while also tackling into the era of modern. The final act kind of pushes into Netflix territory and kind of interrupts everything the movie has been doing, but I feel like this was not a bad SpongeBob film, and I was very surprised by the final result. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, maybe these on the sides you too. Like, subscribe. See you guys next time. Goodbye.